Well, Todd Patrick, we are live. Man, what is
We're
going on?
live.
How are you doing?
Just cruising, man.
You have been
Going
on the
across the
you've been all
Atchafalaya
over the place,
Bridge
man.
down here. Hell yeah,
Right on, man.
all over the
Right on.
country. Yep, living life.
Good to see you, man. Well, how's the
Yeah,
holidays? Everything good?
yeah. Holidays were short and sweet. Got to spend Christmas Eve with the family, and then had to head up the road to get to Nogales, Arizona. Delivered Tuesday. Stay down there and Wednesday. I'll be delivering there tomorrow. So.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Dude, we had some pretty alarming news today, man. We had Carolina Casters, man, not going to be able to compete this year with the KFL, man. It's sad. You know, they're kind of been there since day one, but hey, man, we're always talking to
Yeah.
new teams and teams on the back end. So hopefully we'll have a team here shortly and be able to fill in their position, man. But man, it's always tough. It's always tough when you can't compete. It is what it is.
Yeah, it'll all work out in the end. Like you said, there's had a lot of interest in the league, and it's going to take care of itself.
Yeah, no doubt. So hopefully we'll be able to get another team in without a lot of disruption, and we just move on, man. So, been there, done that. Nothing surprises me any longer, man. So, but they, I want to thank them. I mean, they've been a great team and good people to work with. So, it's tough seeing them leave, but I understand. Trust me, under the circumstances. So. It is what it is, man. But dude, listen, we've had a pretty interesting preseason ranking stuff, man. A lot of comments, a lot of butthurt feelings. A lot of guys that actually appreciated, the honesty of the rankings too, man. So a lot of motivated teams, let's say, going in 2023, man.
Yeah, I mean, the rankings were put together with a lot of thought on, how teams had added players, what they had done
Yeah.
previously. So it's kind of, that kind of stuff was taken into account. And, some teams added players that strengthened their team for next year. Actually, a lot of teams did that, actually, Greg. And, we're going to see can the Maulers go to the championship 3 years in a row? That'll be that's going to be a fun storyline to follow with Granite State up there trying to say no, and Maine. I think much improved. I think Maine. I think they're going to surprise some people this year. I think they're going to come out. And then the new Syracuse Swarm team. We saw them in the rankings. They debuted
11.
yesterday
Yeah.
at 11. Justin Query and Rich Biggie and those guys on Cayuga or Oneida or whatever they end up, figuring out to be their home lake. It's going to be a team to be reckoned with. And then that new team, Illinois, the Bass Mob. They're rated a little lower, but I still have high expectations for that team. So watch out for them on whether they pick St. Chris or Rend or Newton. There's several great lakes in Illinois. So it's going to be a fun team to watch as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I was looking at the divisions, man, I mean, there's not an easy division out there, but I think the hardest by far is the Northeast. That is going to be just a slaughter fest. I think the second one behind them is the Northwest. Again, with, Indianapolis and Motor City, how close they came down to was literally by a couple inches that Motor City lost by against Indianapolis in terms of taking that division, man. But it's gonna be a grind all year long, man. I mean, I like how the schedule is going to start early. The schedule is a little bit more spread out. It just seems like, there's 10 people on each team now. So it's not a lot of bearing or, a lot of anglers don't have to, feel like they have to play every game. So I think it's going to be kind of a really cool, interesting season, man. I think it's going to be, it's still stressful. Don't get me wrong. But, I think at the end of the day, these players are going to have opportunities to fish other events and not feel they have to put all the eggs in one basket with the KFL this year, which is great. I mean, that's what the whole thing is. It's, enjoying the camaraderie, the teammate atmosphere of it, the competitiveness, and hopefully you win some money at the end of the year, man. So it's been good.
I think that, when we were able to get the schedule out to everyone and to start early, we're going to have a lot of showcase on the South at the beginning of the year is how I think it's going to show up. And Those guys down there in the South are going to finally get to showcase how great their fisheries are. We're
Yeah.
going to, be able to catch them while their fish are still biting pretty well. And I think you're going to really, I think it's going to open the KFL up more. From my perspective, it had a lot of North bias
Hmm.
as it kind of showcased the North. But
Because of the
now,
time.
yeah, but now we have it to where the South can be showcased as well. And I think teams like the Swamp Donkeys are going to be super dangerous this year. And we're going to get to watch teams like that compete. And I think they're going to get a lot more good, positive, feedback, because of how those fisheries are going to fish. And
Yeah.
man, Greg, these top 8 are all fire.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get right into it, man. Let's go into the rankings here. Coming in at number 8, like you said, is those Swamp Donkeys, like we just talked about. Again, you talk about additions to this team. They added Sherman Bishop and Conrad Benetti. I mean, I don't know about you, but those 2 additions alone is just huge, right? I think that's really going to firm up this team. Real good team in terms of being tight, having fun, communicative. Enjoyed, the KFL. But man, Russ Kennedy had himself a season last year, and I like this team, man, and that's why they're ranked number 8. I mean, they are in the top 8 this year. They're going to run havoc in the KFL, man, and
Yeah,
pressure's on them. This is a make or break season for this team. Pressure's on these guys.
yeah. Part of me feels that this could easily be a top 5 team. I think that this is a team that if they can put it together, if Conrad can show up this year a little better, and these guys can gel, I have no reason to think that these guys couldn't make a deep playoff run.
Yep.
Swamp Donkeys are here to stay this year.
Yep. I agree, man. Bob Brisky, I mean, he's gonna have to showcase his talents a little bit better this year, man. And Conrad's got to show up, man. KFL has not been kind to Conrad Benetti.
I think it's going to change this year. I think Conrad's going to show out early and often.
I hope they listen to him. I hope they listen to him and basically, hear what he can and can't do. But it's going to be interesting to see how that team basically coexists.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be fun. All right, number 7, man. Number 7 goes to the Pennsylvania Bronzebacks. Man, this team is. I mean, look, they're going to be in the Atlantic Division. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun and see what this team can do. And the adventure that they had in the first round of the playoffs against Rhode Island was unbelievable. I mean, last second catch by Chris Catucci, turned around and got horseshoed by Frank Matalivich, and then he wound up catching that bass to put him up like an inch or inch and a quarter. I don't know, man, but this team is definitely a top 10 team.
Yes.
They plan on using Cayuga as their home lake as well as the Susky. Can you imagine having the Susky and Cayuga as your home bodies of water? Get out of here.
When you can bounce back and forth on those 2 and use those to your advantages because you have great river guys and then you have Cayuga, you have great smallmouth fishing with Nick Audi and the Mataleviches. This team is uber dangerous. In my opinion, this could be the team that wins it all this year. They have that good of a team. It's just, can they get through the juggernaut that the North is?
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania, we're going to see what they can do, but very easily another team that could be top 5.
They have to protect home better. They just do. They've lost 2 key games last year at home. And against Norfolk was one of them, and against the Maulers was the other one. You can't lose those games, man, at home.
Yeah, when they went to Pymatooning and Norfolk beat them, took a lot of wind out of their sails. That loss did. So
it sure did.
This year, narrowing it down to 1 or 2 lakes, I think it's actually going to benefit these teams to not overthink things.
Yep.
And that was the downfall for my team last year, the Tennessee Shiners. We overthought things and we expanded too much. We would have stayed closer, to our roots. I think, could have done a little better, but looking forward to it.
I'll tell you what, I find anybody be hard pressed to have a better year than Nick Addy had last year. Nick had an unbelievable year. Can he do it again? Who knows, man? But he was a tough competitor last year. All right, man.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 6 is the Southern Slayers. That is going to be interesting. Again, this was my pick last year to basically be in the championship for the South. Honestly, did not start off well. Had to learn how to combine each other as a team and fish and communicate and everything else. Something happened, though, when they went to Florida. And man, they just ran on all cylinders then and just kind of ran the table. They ran into a buzzsaw at Coosa. I mean, it was very difficult to beat Coosa at Coosa. They lost there. But man, this team has made some changes too. They cut some people, they brought on some people. Joe Kimyati is on this team now, man. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, Joe's a solid angler. And think he makes his own jigs, if I'm not mistaken. Striker jigs, is Joe in that?
Yep.
But yeah, man, solid ad. But yes, protecting home field, it's going to be the story throughout the year. The first game, or one of the first games they played last year when they had Coosa come down, I think it was on Seminole, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That was a rough
epic
loss.
matchup.
That was it was a rough loss that kind of set the table early for them.
Yep.
But they did get their feet underneath of them late. It's very rightfully deserving of a top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my early season MVP candidate is going to be Matt Vogt. I think he's coming on. He understands the concept now, how this works. He loves it, and this guy has got something to prove, man. And look out for him. All right, coming in here you go. Top 5 guys. Coming in at number 5 is the Motor City Ambassadors. You got to have this team in the top 5. I mean, this team is just road warriors. They know how to win at home, obviously on the road. I think, a very diverse group of anglers. Guys can fish in grass. Guys can fish everywhere. The losses they did have last year were just like super close they didn't get blown out by any means by anybody. This team is unbelievable. Consistency galore here.
Yeah, when you look at this lineup from top to bottom, you can start any 4 and go dominate anywhere. I'm really interested to see on how this team uses the guy that I was wanting them to use a lot last year, Steve Galloway. I think this guy could be a unsung hero in this league if he gets to showcase his talents. And I want to see Jeff Fader. Let's see if Jeff Fader can come back right. This year after having a lot of work to do last year. I see he's on the roster. But this team right now is my dark horse to win it all. I know a lot of these guys, and it's kind of because I know them. But I know what they are, and I know what they can do. I know with Keher and Soler and Galloway and Fader and Linsenman. I mean, every single Polens. This team is solid, and don't be shocked if the Motor City Ambassadors don't win the whole thing.
I'd say another guy, Jeremy Baker, on this team, man. I mean, he did miracles for him last year. Had a rough patch, with 1 or 2 games. Was really down on himself. But at the end of the day, man, when this team clicks, man, they are very, very difficult to beat, man. So it's gonna be fun to watch them. And then they added Brandon Bissell, which is, if you guys don't know who he is, you will know who he is. And this team could be very, very difficult to beat in 2020-23.
I will add something. If Lake St. Clair is their home, Brandon Bissell, I watched him throw up 103 plus inches in a tournament on Lake St. Clair last year or the year before. The dude knows how to fish everywhere he goes. He was a Hobie Worlds guy. He did great at the KBF National Championship a couple years ago. Brandon Bissell could be a dark horse for MVP of the league. If he gets to showcase what he can do. I mean, this team is stacked, man.
Stacked.
And the more that I'm talking about them, I don't know why they're 5.
Well, they are. Because we have 4 other teams that could very well beat them. And this is number 4 is their foe, Indianapolis Knights, man. What a season they had last year. They were undefeated at home until the Massachusetts Maulers beat them at home in the playoffs. A tough loss to get out, man. But this team, again, consistently up there in wins. Again, I mean, great social media, great everything. I mean, this team is a full KFL team, and they do everything right. And man, they've got obviously Mike Elsey and Sam Jones and Chip Romanovich and those guys, man. I mean, those, again, very solid group, man. Really is. Number 4.
Yeah, and what it's going to come down to is what does Indianapolis do with home water this year? Do they try to go somewhere different? If they do, how bad does that affect them? And then also, they're a team that kind of has like a smaller roster, right? They kind of
Yep.
interchange about 6 guys.
Yep.
Does that work for them all year again this year? We'll have to see. But there's a couple of guys in the area that they could add that could totally help this team out um, if they wanted to. But Indianapolis is doing it right in all phases of the KFL. This is a model franchise for the league, and it's a team to follow. A lot of fun and great, just nothing but great guys.
Yep. Agreed. All right, here we go. Top 3. Number 3 is the Arkansas Hogs. What do you say, man? I mean, this team picked up and did well with the roster. They picked up some really, really good talent. Terrell Standifer came over into the roster. Obviously, you have Garrett Morgan. You have Corey Hopper. Kyle Burns, you talk about another guy that just dedicates himself to the KFL. This guy is actually, puts on a show for his team. I mean, it's always supportive right there with them. They came to Virginia, obviously in the playoffs against the Reapers. They lost. They only traveled three against 4 at Blackwater. I mean, you're basically handicapping yourself when you do that. But I don't think that's going to happen this year with a good solid group of 10 anglers. But Arkansas Hogs, number 3, man. Oh, we're losing Todd, but yeah, I mean, again, this team is extremely solid. Obviously they're going to be the favorite to win the Southwest. There, they've got against their Eagles, and that was a tough loss for them last year when they lost at Natural State Eagles. That was actually kind of pretty shocking, to be honest with you. But Cody Milton, Garrett Morgan, Brandon Prince, Chris Hartman, Chris Wright, Corey Hopper, Gordon Parham, Cole Harkin, Terrell Standifer, and Keith Zimmerman on this team. Again, I think they're going to be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah. Do you got me, Greg? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Okay. With the addition of Terrell Standifer, I think it's a really good add. This team underperformed, I think, last year. Well as they did, they underperformed. They had
tough
6
fisheries,
games
man.
in a
tough fisheries.
They had 6 games in a row that they didn't even have limits, but they were able to squeak out wins. And if you're the better team, you get the dub, right? So that worked out well for them. But I expect this team to show out and I expect them to kind of dominate. I would expect them to dominate the Southwest.
Yeah, I do too. They've got to be the favorite. All right, number 2 is the Granite State Sticks. Man, you talking about a team that dominated the KFL all year. They bring Massachusetts Maulers into their house. Did not go to Winnipesaukee, right? Went to the lake right beside them, and the wind was blowing like 30 on Saturday. They had to fish on Sunday. And man, I'm still questioning that decision. I get it. Everybody wants to tell me about, this and that, and the reasons why they did it. But at the end of the day, they still lost in that playoff game. Absolutely heartbreaking. But to be honest with you, man, this freaking roster is unbelievable. It is stacked. And I'm telling you, man, this was hard to go between 2 and 1. But Jake Angelis, Matt Lee, Steve O'Brien, Greg Kresnowski, Justin Lacasse, Tammy Sanchez, Jake Kukulis, Mark Donio, Kevin Dowie, and Ewing Minor are on this team. Get out of here. I mean, the problem they're going to have is who are they going to start?
Like we said, the Ewing Minor edition was good, but how much is he used, right?
Yeah.
So that's a name that's out there that makes the team look great, but what is his role on this team? You and I disagreed on, where. So,
Todd, we're losing you, man.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I had a phone call. But watch out for Granite State because I feel that they were basically that playoff went away from. I thought they could win the whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
it's the league is full of parity and it's going to be fun. I don't know what to say. Granite State, they do everything right, and with Angeles Kakulis Lee, and then plug and play your fourth guy. I
Yeah.
don't know how much. I don't. I think they go undefeated at home this year.
Well, the thing is,
And
are
yeah,
those additions going to help or hurt the team, like from a team camaraderie standpoint, right? I know because
right.
Angeles and Matt Lee are very close, and then you can plug and play, any other two that you want in those lineups. But those two are like, the core of that team. Again, some questionable decisions at the end of the year that was made, but at the end of the day, look, man, this team is still, they've learned from their mistakes. I think they're going to be, very difficult out, and we'll see. They got to travel better, man. That's the thing. They got to travel better.
Yeah, and this year their traveling has upped itself. They don't, last
Yep.
year not so much traveling. This year they got to get to go out and explore a little bit. So
Yep.
we're gonna have to just find out, man. But that
Yep.
leaves us with one other team, Greg.
And you know them very well, and there's only one that you can really talk about. Massachusetts Maulers, back-to-back going to the championship. They were obviously the inaugural champions of the KFL, went back to the championship last year. It was an unbelievable run. We all had them left for dead. In the beginning of the season, they were 1-3 in the season. They came back on an unbelievable winning streak. The road wins alone was something that will never be duplicated in the KFL. I'm telling you, that was unbelievable when what they did. They went to Pennsylvania, they won there. They went to Rhode Island. I believe they won at Rhode Island before that. Then they went to Motor City and beat them. Okay, beat Motor City at St. Clair, which no one does, and then went to Indianapolis and beat them at home, they were undefeated at home since the get-go. So, and then they came
Yep.
up just short against Coosa at the championship. This team is freaking unbelievable. And the cast of characters that were last year, they didn't add anybody, they didn't release anybody. It's the same crew running it back this year, and you got to put them number one, man. You got to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with them being number one. Say what?
Nope. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I agree with them being number one. I mean, to go to the championship 2 years in a row, when you have a preseason ranking, that's like an Alabama status. Who number one is Mass Maulers in the KFL right now, and who's number two, right?
Right,
Right. So
we can debate we can debate anywhere beyond that. But like you said, number one, and they've earned that for a reason, man. So, well, that's it for your preseason rankings, man. That was 24 through number one in the last 3 days. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sure there's a lot of debate. My messages get full, about this and that and all that stuff. But look, preseason rankings don't mean a daggone thing. You got to prove it on the water, and especially these new teams coming in. If you're ranked, I don't care if you're ranked 24th or 20th or whatever, man. Look, you got to win, and obviously, things will happen itself, and yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's exciting to see what happens. So, we'll guys keep you posted on what's going on. Again, guys, I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. Todd, be safe out there. I know you're traveling to Miami. My God, so you be safe out there, but dude. Yeah. Guys, we appreciate you. Let's continue to do it, man. It's been a great off season so far, man. It's been quiet. It's been fun. Everybody's been getting along. It's been nice, So, but yeah, it's been good, man. But well, guys, Happy New Year. Take care, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.